This video is going to be talking about custody revolving around the holidays. I've had a lot of questions asking how it works, just like splitting custody with kids over the holidays. A lot of people that are not familiar with being a part of a split family or being the adult in a split family, if it's something that you've never experienced before, then it could be very hard to understand. I decided I would talk to you guys about what our schedule looks like because I kind of have a little bit of everything in our situation between me and Chris. So I thought I would just make a video kind of talking about how it works for those who don't understand it. When it comes to the holidays, there are so many different ways that the custody schedule could be split. Some parents have certain holidays that are special to you and they arrange that with the other parent to have the child on that day every single year. This one I don't think is very common. I don't know anyone who actually does this who gets like every single Christmas or every single Thanksgiving. The only example that I have on my end with this is that with Lilia, every single year up to this point, I've gotten her for Halloween because that one's my favorite holiday and Gabe's family doesn't celebrate it really. And he gets her for 4th of July every year because they always do a big like family barbecue. So we've kind of like permanently set in those custody arrangements. And that could change in the next couple years. Up to this point, that's the agreement that we've had. Probably the most common arrangement for split families is switching off the holiday every other year. For example, I would have the kids on Easter this year and he would have the kids on Easter next year, and so on and so forth. And we would switch every other holiday every other year. So for us, the custody arrangement with Lilia and with the boys are generally about the same on paper. Every other holiday, every other year is what we are arranged to do. For Christmas specifically, the way that it works in our agreement, and I think this is probably most people's agreement, is that the parents switch off between Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. So for example, this year I get my kids Christmas Eve, all of Christmas Eve overnight, and then Christmas morning till like 9 or 11 or some early time in the morning. And then at that point, Gabe will pick up Lilia and he gets to have her all the rest of Christmas Day overnight until the 26th. And that time schedule changes every year. So every year we switch. The boys, you guys kind of know how that is. I don't know when Drake is planning on getting the boys. I haven't talked to him about that if he wants to at all. So that obviously is a little bit different. Generally speaking, that's how it's supposed to work. Another way that some people arrange holidays is they split the actual day. For example, Thanksgiving, one gets the child half of the day and the other parent gets the child the rest of the day. Same with Halloween, same with Easter. You can split the day on the actual day. And if that works for your family, then that is another great way to make sure that both of you get to spend time with the child. Another way that you can do it, and this is more common with parents who live far away from the children, is that they can come visit the parent for long periods of time on certain breaks. So for example, this is exactly how Chris's schedule works. There is a 2-week Christmas school break. He gets them for half of the break and she gets them for the other half of the break. So that being said, every year is gonna be a little bit different in terms of the time spent with the children. So this year we'll get them the first half of the week, so we'll get to spend Christmas Eve and Christmas Day with them. The next year she's gonna get them the first week and then we'll get them the second half of the week. Every year the numbers are a little bit different. So sometimes that means that he might actually pick them up on Christmas Day or she might pick them up on Christmas Day, but it's split evenly between the school break so that each parent gets equal time with the children. So that's how his Christmas schedule works, and that's how a lot of people do it who live far away from the children. And then in terms of other holidays, again, it's generally switched off every other holiday every other year, but with longer periods of time. So he'll get them for the entire 4-day weekend instead of just the actual day. So that's kind of how the long distance schedule works. The other way that some people celebrate holidays is by celebrating it together with both the ex's family and your family. This is something that Gabe and I have done in the past. Obviously, as you guys have seen, we spent Halloween together, but this may not work for a lot of people. Don't ever feel like you have to spend the holiday with your ex if one of you guys doesn't want to. All that will do is cause tension, and the child can sense the tension, and therefore it will not be as fun for the child. I always see people talking about how they want their child to have their mom and dad together, even if they're not together, just for the holidays. And that can be a really great situation as long as the parents can be civil and probably friendly towards each other. You don't want any kind of tension around the children because they're smart. They are very, very smart and they can pick up on that. no matter how young they are. So don't ever force yourself to spend time with the other parent if that's not something that you're comfortable doing. You also need to take into consideration what's the best thing for the kids. You don't want their holidays to just be filled with chaos. No matter what situation you guys end up choosing, make sure that the child always comes first. I know from experience that spending a holiday without your child is probably one of the most depressing things in the entire world. Just make sure you have in mind that the holiday should be about the child. You have to be creative. What I've done up to this point to kind of accommodate for that is I just celebrate it on a completely different day. Lilia knows that Santa visits 2 different houses for Christmas. She knows that Santa knows exactly where she lives, whether she's at her mom's house or her dad's house. Sometimes Santa comes early to the kids who have split families. Last year, Santa came to our house on the 23rd, and then he came to Gabe's house on the 24th, and then I had the 24th. You kind of just have to be creative, and no matter what, just make sure it's always about the child. You don't want it to be too chaotic. You don't want them to have bad memories growing up of how they had to spend the holidays. Holidays are stressful as it is, and when you have custody to think about on top of that, I know it is just not, it's not the right time during the year to have to want to deal with it. But unfortunately, it's like the main part of the year where you have to deal with it. So you just have to be creative and open-minded and positive, no matter what schedule you guys end up coming up with. It always helps me to see pictures of what my baby is doing at the other parent's house. That always makes me feel better, knowing that they're enjoying their time over there. Seeing that they're having fun makes me really feel happy about my decision to let them spend time with their other family. So that is pretty much it for this video. I hope that helps some of you guys if you are in this situation or you're going to go through this situation, but just know that it's not the end of the world. And for those of you who haven't been through the situation and never will be, maybe it'll just help you understand. I hope that answered anyone's questions that you might have had. So yeah, that is it for today's video, and I will talk to you tomorrow for Vlogmas. Oh man, I need to keep track. Day 15. Bye. So I thought it'd be fun if Chris did the Christmas tag with me. Are you excited?